so good afternoon everybody. So most probably today is our last lecture before mid semester, and today's topic is dynamics of particle, and we are going to study the earth as a non-inertial frame. So in the last class we talked about non-inertial frame, the frame of reference which is rotating as well as translating, right? Rotating as well as accelerating. So over here now we are going to study a few cases of earth as a non-inertial frame of reference. That means where the rotation of earth has a meaning, right? So in order to do it, so we are going to write, we are in the topic of dynamics of particle, and this is our topic, earth as a non-inertial frame. Let's just, as we have declared the topic, today's topic, so let's erase this part, and let's say this is what is your earth. Okay, so north pole, south pole, this is the east direction and west direction. So earth is rotating from west to east. As we can see that it is moving from east to west. Sun is rising at the east and setting down in the west. So the earth is rotating from west to east. So as such, this is what is your rotational vector omega. Okay. Now let's say we are at any position, say on the earth. Like for example, let's say we are at Beta, Patna. So this is our latitude. Let's say it is the latitude of lambda, and on the surface where we are residing and the classes are going on, our campus is situated. So that is a tangent plane to this point. Let's say this is what is my tangent plane. Okay. So the vertical plane is this. So this is what is my vertical plane. Let's say this is what is my k, small k. Okay. Now this plane will be having two directions, I and j. So let us denote that this is what is towards the south, it is the I direction. Okay. This is what is your k direction, and perpendicular to I you have the j. So I and j, look carefully, your I and j constituting the plane on which we are situated, we are resting. That means our buildings are there, roads are there, vehicles are moving. So there all these activities are happening in ij plane. K is the vertical direction, right? Now let's say over here, if you are going to draw the omega vector, then you are going to get, this is what is your omega. Now in terms of I and k, what is going to be the omega? Are you understanding? Over here, the omega vector is, as we are residing over here, so our omega vector is this, which is the translated over here. Now it has two components. One is along I and along k. Right? So what is going to be? So if it is lambda, then this part is also going to be lambda. And this angle is going to be what? Say this angle is going to be 90 degree minus lambda. So you can represent omega vector as, yes, tell me, omega, the magnitude, omega magnitude. Okay. So it is towards minus cos of lambda I. Say yes or no? Towards this, and it is directed omega cos lambda I minus, and you have plus omega sine lambda k. So this is what is your omega vector. Right? Now over here I will be talking about two things, two velocities. One is, let's say v1 is equal to vi, and let's say v2 is equal to minus vk. Are you understanding what I am talking about these velocities? Let's say any velocities which is directed towards I. First velocity v1, it is directed towards I. That means it is moving from north to south. Quite obvious. Like I am going to move from north to south. I am moving the velocity. Okay? And k, minus k means the body is free falling. This v2 is talking about the free fall motion. Right? Now let us count that as earth is going to rotate. So how many pseudo forces that you can expect? How many pseudo forces that you can expect? Yes, one is the centrifugal force, other one is the Coriolis force. Right? One is the centrifugal force, other one is the Coriolis force. Now as the centrifugal force is not that way effective, right? Because we are going to get the difference in respect of the gravitational acceleration over here maximum, but that too in a decimal change, right? What we are going to expect is the Coriolis force. Okay, so the Coriolis force is going to be, for this case, it is going to be minus twice m is the mass of that particle. Okay, omega cross v1. Okay, and in this case the Coriolis force is minus twice m omega cross v2. So what it is going to be? Minus twice m omega is minus omega cos lambda I plus omega sine lambda k cross v I, and over here I j k. The cyclic permutations are there. So it is going to be minus twice m, yeah, I cross I 0, k and I j. Okay, so it is going to be twice omega sine lambda times v, omega sine lambda times v j. Okay, clear? Now in this case it is minus twice m. Okay, so omega cross minus v k. So it is going to be k and k 0. So it is going to be minus twice m times minus omega cos of lambda times I cross minus v times k. So it is going to be minus minus plus minus I and k minus. So there are 4 minus, so it is going to be positive. Twice m omega cos of lambda times v times j. Okay, now it is clear. So we are understanding that if, now what are these two cases? These two cases are, in the first case, the particle is going to move from north to south. A particle is going to move from north to south and it is subjected to this amount of force. A particle which is free falling with a velocity v, let's say some velocity v, then it is subjected to this much amount of force. Now let us identify those directions. First, in the first case we are going to move from north to south and the direction is minus j. So I am going to move from north to south and my j direction is that, and now I am going to get the force towards right. Are you understanding? So this force is telling that I am being directed, getting the force towards right. Okay, so what does it mean? It means that any velocity, look over here, any velocity over here, please keep in mind that this omega has two components. One is this and other this. Now this I and j could be any. Which is mattering, which is affecting over here is the vertical component, because you are going to get the cross product of the vertical component, right? So as such, this ij could be anything. Like for example, I am going to make this I towards the south. I can make it towards the east, no problem. Then also I am going to get the rightward direction, rightward force. Okay? So it is telling that any velocity along the earth's surface in northern hemisphere is going to get rightward force. So as such, what does it mean? Rightward force means clockwise. So you mean that any air particle which is flowing is always subjected to a rightward force, which means that it is going to create a cyclone or storm which is rotating at clockwise direction in the northern hemisphere. So it is going to be clockwise in northern hemisphere. In northern hemisphere. So the entire situation is going to be opposite if we are at the southern hemisphere. Okay. So now you are understanding that any air particle which is flowing is always subjected to a rightward force, that is the Coriolis force, due to earth rotation, and they are going to create a clockwise storm while they are making the low pressure zone. Sure? And that is what is there. So for the northern hemisphere we are going to get a clockwise, and in the southern hemisphere we are going to get the anti-clockwise. This is due to the earth rotation, and this is what is the effect of Coriolis force. Now another example. Another example is, we talked about the simple pendulum, right? Now you think about any simple pendulum. It is having the velocity, right? So now this velocity is subjected to earth rotation. So any particle which is going to move is subjected to a rightward force. In the northern hemisphere, that means if right now I am going to do an experiment like this, for example, like this. So this particle is subjected to a rightward force, and this rightward force is going to create what? This rightward force is going to create that always the plane of oscillation is going to shift towards the right. And as a result, it is going to create a cycle. That is due to the earth rotation. And this kind of pendulum is called the Foucault pendulum. So look carefully that Foucault pendulum is the proof of earth rotation. Foucault pendulum, I think you have seen in IIT Delhi. It is there. I have seen in IIT Delhi, but you can see it in any space station, any ISRO building, Bhabha Atomic Research Center building, and could be many places. And in the Europe, you are going to get in many cathedral, because it requires, the difference is that the simple pendulum is of, very short height, but they are very low, the length is quite high, quite big. So as a result, if you are going to give an oscillation, the oscillating plane towards in the northern hemisphere is always directed towards the right. Okay, so this is what is the effect of Foucault pendulum, right? Are you understanding? That means a simple pendulum is supposed to stay in a plane. That means this plane is not going to change. But due to the earth rotation, this is always subjected to a rightward force. That means it is going to change like this, always moving rightward. Okay, sure. So this is what is the effect of earth rotation. Now we are coming to the free fall motion. So say suppose you just drop this chalk. So what is going to happen? It is going to be placed at the same vertical line as that of, right? But this expression is telling that no, it is not. It is going to shift towards the j direction. Okay, are you understanding? It is going to say that it is going to drift towards the j. So what is j? J is meaning that along this. And what is that? Cos of lambda. So that means if you are going to decide this as the I direction or north and south direction, then it is going to shift towards the what? Towards j. J means towards the west. Towards the west in northern hemisphere by this amount. So what it is meaning? It means that, so for example, if you have dropped it at very near to the ground, it is having the highest velocity. So the drift is proportional to v, and this omega, all these terms are fixed. So as nearer to the ground, that much is the drift. So this drift is going to say that earth is rotating. It means that, so suppose you are going to drop this chalk, it is going to be falling at vertically down point. But due to the earth rotation, it is going to shift towards, in the northern hemisphere, towards the west. Right? Through the northern hemisphere, it is going to shift towards the west. And this part can be visualized where this experiment is effective, where there is no interference of air flow. Where it is? Yes, it is in the deep mine. So for the mining operations, say suppose you have a very deep mine and you just drop a stone in the deep mine, you will find that it is not going to fall exactly vertically the same point as that of the falling point. It is shifted, and this shift, the calculation from this shift or like this can be, this is what is the force. Look carefully, this is what is the force. Right? So with this force, you are going to get this, the drift acceleration. Right? This acceleration is divided by m. This drift acceleration is divided by m, and you know the time of fall. From there you can see, you can check what is going to be the omega of earth. So you know the omega of earth, but this drift can be a measure of omega indirectly. Are you sure? So with that, we are going to conclude today. So we are going to say that today we are discussed about the non-inertial frame of considering Earth as a non-inertial frame, and we have seen the Foucault pendulum, the Earth cyclone motion, and all this. So I will be requesting you that you please go to the YouTube and search a video of Foucault pendulum. You are going to enjoy it. Okay. So Foucault pendulum is nothing but it is a simple pendulum, where the simple pendulum, the oscillating plane is resting stationary. But for the Foucault pendulum, the oscillating plane is going to move towards the right due to the Earth rotation. The plane is always shifting towards the right. So the plane is like this, is going to shift towards the right, towards the right, towards the right, towards the right, like that. It is going to complete a circle and oscillation due to Earth rotation. Now where you are going to get zero effect? Zero effect is when lambda is going to be 0, because it is related to sin lambda. So at the equator, look over here, at the equator what is the case? Because this vertical part is absolutely perpendicular to the omega, so it has no effect. It has maximum effect at the North Pole or in the South Pole. So the Foucault pendulum is having maximum effect at North Pole and South Pole, and you have seen that in your geography course that your this air motions in the equator is beta of state. Right? You just look into once again the geography course, you find that this is our air motions, velocity lines are almost straight, and as soon as they are reaching towards the North Pole and South Pole, they drift more and more, because your lambda value is going to increase. The Coriolis force is going to increase. Coriolis force is 0 over here. But as soon as you are closing towards the North Pole and South Pole, they are going to gradually increase, because the latitude is going to change, right? So this is what is the geography course. Why the wind velocities are perpendicular to this equator line and all this, right? So this is what is the thing. Another thing we have seen that if you are going to make a free fall of any body, you will find that it is shifted towards lateral shift. There is a lateral shift, and that lateral shift is due to the Coriolis force. Okay. So with that we are going to conclude today, and I thought that I will be teaching one more for dynamics of rigid bodies before mid semester, but I am planning that no, it is not needed, because your exam, I think you are going to get exam is scheduled on 27th. Okay. So I think that's it, and all the best for your mid semester. So that's it, and tomorrow's class we can discuss. Okay. Thank you for your patience. Thank you.